So what we got here, guys, is a picture is enclosed in the frame as shown. The frame is a uniform 1 centimeters in width all around the picture. The height of the picture is 1 second. The height of the picture is sorry. Okay. Now we get here is the frame is enclosed a uniform 1 centimeter in width all around the picture. The height of the picture of the frame is h. The width of the picture in the frame exceeds the height by. The width of the picture and frame exceeds the height by 4. What does exceeds the height by 4 mean? 4 more. So if it was 10, the width would be 14. 4 more. So therefore it's h plus 4 would be from here to here. Is that right? H plus 4 from there to there. The area of the picture is given by h squared plus q, where q equals z. Find the value of q. So what we have to do is we have to find out what is the area of the actual picture. Okay? So that's what we're looking to find out. Now, if I see this h plus 4 here, yeah? If I was to chop the two edges off, the 1 centimeter off each side, what would be left with it? What sort of size would be left? So this is the diagram of it here. Just take that down. So if I was to take one off the edge, if I was to get rid of that part there and that part there, what would be left over? It would be h plus 2, because it's h plus 4, take away your 2, which gives me h plus 2 here. Okay, that's perfect. And then it tells you that this part here is h. Sorry? Yes, because the whole thing, if I was to shade it all in green, the whole thing is h. However, you're taking a 1 away from it both sides. So you're taking this part away, and you're taking this part away. Now you're just left with the green part in between, which is going to be h minus 2. Now it says keyword area of the picture. The picture is in the shape of a rectangle. Therefore, what's the area? Area equals length by width, which is h minus 2. Okay, and what happens next? Yeah. Good man. Minus 4. And what about the two h's? So it's the same thing as h squared minus 4. So h squared plus q is the same thing as h squared minus 4. What's the value of q then? Q equals minus 4. How many people got that one? 22? Okay. Some of you seem to know what you're talking about though, so I'm surprised. Did you get it? Oh, well done, Josh. Okay. Now, we're multiplying that one. Okay, the left hand side equals the right hand side for all values of x. Show by comparing coefficients. Now, guys, just the word coefficients, okay? If I had a 3x squared, and I asked you, what is the coefficient of x squared? What can you tell me? The coefficient of x squared is 3. If I had 3x squared plus 10x plus 6, if I asked you, what's the coefficient of x squared? What's the coefficient of the x squared? What's the coefficient of the x? 10. Just that whatever number comes in front of the letter I talk about. So if I said 3xy plus 10x squared plus 20y squared, if I said what's the coefficient of xy? The xy. 3. Coefficient of the y squared. Okay, perfect. So coefficients basically means the number in front of the x squared or x. Okay. So here's what's happening. We're going to multiply these two out first. What happens when we multiply that out? X squared minus px plus px minus, cancel, x squared minus p squared. That in turn is getting multiplied by ax plus w. What happens next? Ax cubed, yeah. Plus w, yeah. ap squared x and p squared w. Okay. What does that equal over the other side? Okay, good. Now, looking across and comparing. Okay, nothing new to be learned there, is there? Now look at the coefficients of the x squareds. Wx squared equals, so w therefore equals b. Okay, next one. Minus ap squared x equals cx. Therefore c must be minus ap squared. And then finally d. What about d, guys? D equals minus p squared w. So you have three equations. Now what does it want me to do? It wants me to show that BC equals AD. Now here comes the hard part. It wants me to show that B squared equals BC equals AD. Now, BC equals AD is the goal of the question. I currently have three random equations here. Equation 1, equation 2, and finally equation 3. That makes sense? Now, I have to turn all three of these equations into this one somehow, and it seems like sort of like an impossible to understand process, okay? But the truth is, you got to look at the letters that aren't there. So right now we have B, W, D, A, C, and P. Which letters are not in our answer? P is not there, W is not there. So we got to get rid of P and W somehow, okay? So here's what we're going to do. We know that W equals B, yeah? So I'm going to change the second equation into D equals minus P squared. Instead of W, I'm going to put in, anybody? B. Do you understand what I did there? W equals B. Therefore, the W in this equation here can be replaced with B. Okay, I've now successfully eliminated out the W. It's gone. My next step is to successfully eliminate out all P's. Okay. Now we now have D equals minus P squared B, and C equals minus A P squared. Okay, Higgins, what's your question? So these P's here, okay. We want to get rid of the P squareds, right? The P squareds have no place in our answer, yeah? So if we have two equations that have P squareds in them. So if we get the P squared on its own, so an example, minus P squared, if it's, I'm just going to rub out this part for a second. If it's multiplied by B on the left, on the right, what happens to the B on the left then if I bring it over? This B here. It's multiply on the left, which means when it goes over, division on the right. Minus P squared equals D over B. Look, do the same thing for this one. This is technically C equals A times minus P squared. Are they the same thing? Is minus AP squared the same thing as A multiplied by minus P squared? Can you tell me, are they different? Okay, now see that A we just wrote down a second ago? What happens if I were to divide that under the other side? It's multiplied by A on the right hand side, so when it moves to the left hand side, what happens to it? So C over A equals, now minus P squared is equal to D over B, but it's also equal to, therefore by logic the two of them must be the same. And then after that, AD equals, cross multiply. B goes up beside the C, the A goes up beside the D. Another way of looking at it is you give them the same denominator. You go, B on bottom, B on top. A on bottom, A on top. And you get the same answer when the denominators cancel. Is that alright? Okay.